Hi everybody, this is Matt. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Well, thanks to you, this is How Matt Buys Guns Part 2. And that comes because of all of your comments and your questions and your feedback and even more questions after my last video. But you know what? That's what I really love about this channel. I love the synergy. I love the sense of community. It's kind of like we're a big family. So I love being able to interact with you and to have you interact with me. And all the crazy stuff that's going on with the internet right now, phooey on that stuff. I'm still here, so let's just keep the conversation going. And so many of your questions were, well, we see a lot of channels where these guys basically can shoot anything that they want, the most fancy, expensive guns on the face of the earth, and they got lots of them. But then we see people like you that you don't really have a whole lot of guns. So how do these people have guns and you don't? Well, part of that is because I'm just a regular person. I'm just as you see me now. There's no false pretense. There's nothing like that. This is done in my basement. And I'm talking the way that I talk to my friends right now. And you're my friends. You're part of my extended family. And there's an old saying, family is who you make it. So it's not always blood. As to the other channels, it's obvious from the way that some of the other channels talk about themselves, and you get to see some of the fancy stuff that they drive or fly or whatever else, you know, that they got a lot of money. Well, they earn the money, and so if they want to buy very expensive firearms and they want to show those on the internet, good for them. You'll see other people that work for gun shops and pawn shops and stuff like that where they have access to these firearms. Again, good for them. But like I said, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not sponsored. I don't get T&E guns, which means testing and evaluation guns. I don't get anything like that. I've never even asked for anything like that. Because sometimes when corporations get involved and there's money exchanging hands where it's basically like a paid product review or something, that can color the results. And I really haven't wanted that. I haven't needed it. Simply, I'm here to try to share with you the experiences that I've had in the last almost 60 years on the planet. So there you have it. And the thing is, as a regular person like you, I work a 40-hour week. I make this much money. There's this much month. Sometimes there seems to be this much month and not quite enough money. And I have to pay for the mortgage on my house. I got to keep the lights on and I got to keep the water flowing. And for those of you who have families, you have little ones, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the thing is, I still remember, you know, when I was young and when I was married and for the first time, and you know, my first child is about ready to come into the world, and you know, we're thinking, hey, this is going to be great because we've already got this. You know, we've already got the place that we're living in, and the lights are on and everything else, and a little bitty baby coming into the world. That's not going to really impact us a whole lot. Woo-hoo! Wow, was that delusional or what? Kids are expensive. I was shocked at the price of baby formula, at baby food, diapers, all that stuff. Dresses, you know, the little bitty dresses. You know, I had 2 girls. It's like, what? Those cost more than, oh, wow. And so, yeah, you run into stuff like that. And then, you know, they're getting sick, they're falling down, you're taking them to the doctor all the time. And then as they grow up, then they go into daycare and everything else, and you know the rest. So where are you going to put your money? Are you going to go out and purchase the latest, greatest Uber gun that's the Gun of the Month Club award winner, or are you going to feed your kid? You're going to feed your kid. And then some people asked about how I got into Glock. Well, I was able, since I used to be in law enforcement, Glock was very kind and allowed me to purchase a couple of Glocks at the Blue Label price, which is the law enforcement price, and that's how I got into Glock, and I kind of stayed with them because of my investment in holsters and the fact that I'm pretty familiar with how they work. I like being able to take them down and work on them, and that's how I got into that. What else? Some people have said, hey, can we look in your safe? No, it's my safe, you can't look in it. And they've also said, well, I bet that there's just a lot of guns in there. You might be in for a big surprise, because almost half of that safe is taken up with mementos of my mom and my dad that I never want anything to ever happen to. You know, God forbid that something would happen. So things that are really precious to me, they're in there. Sure, there are guns in there, but you know, there are important things in there. And some of this might sound a little bit silly to you, but some of it might resonate with a lot of you folks out there. My dad was an avid hunter. He was an avid outdoorsman. He loved to hunt. He loved to fish. This is one of the items that happens to reside in the safe. And maybe some of you viewers can help me out with this. This is a PS Olt duck call. Now this says PS Olt, and all the rest that it says is Pekin Ills, as in Illinois, but it says Ills. There is no model number on this thing whatsoever, no serial number. It doesn't tell me anything about it, but this was my dad's, and he had this long before I was born, so this was manufactured way before 1959. If any of you have any information on this particular duck call, I would really, really like to know. So that's what it looks like. And it just said that the patent is applied for, but again, there's no model number on it whatsoever. But this is a PS Olt. And like I said, if any of you know anything about this, please pass along the information. I would love to know more about it. Another item back there is this knife. This is a fishing knife made by Colonial, and it just simply says fish knife on it. And this holds a lot of memories for me, because not only is it a fishing knife, but it is a scaler, it has a bottle opener, and everything else. Dad, being the consummate outdoorsman that he was, we spent a lot of time during the summers fishing the big lakes up in Minnesota, and also the rivers and stuff around here. And another knife happens to be my grandfather's. Again, no idea how old this thing is, but it's been used a lot. And Dad had to travel an awful lot. He loved his adventures, and one thing that he got from my mom in one of his travels was this fan. And I don't know the backstory on it. Mom never told me about it at all. But little things like this are things that are actually important to me. So let's see, what else do I have that hides in the safe that holds a memory for me? This single action original Colt 22. Look at this little guy. Isn't it beautiful? They don't make wood like that anymore. This still shoots just as good as the day that I got it. So single action. You've got your extractor here. Hopefully you can see that. Get that right there. So that's how you extract the spent cartridges from it, like that. And this is old enough that it does not have a traverse bar. So generally you're just going to load this with 5, not 6. But again, beautiful gun, lots of memories along with that. And now, for those of you that asked about the most expensive scope that I have for a rifle, ta-da, here you go. This is it. This is the most expensive optic that I have. It's primary arms, 1x4, and it's on a Burris mount. Bought this used from a friend for, I want to say, either 35 or 50 bucks, something like that. So that is the most expensive piece of glass that I have. I learned how to shoot with iron sights, and comes in handy, but frankly, that was all I could afford at the time. And speaking of affording, I got a call from a gun shop today. It's like, Matt, got in an M1 Garand, World War II vintage, checked it out, barrel on it looks pretty good, looks pretty shootable, and $1,200 price tag. I had to pass. Why? Because I don't have the money. That's just simply the way that it goes. So, you know, I'd love to have one, but it just simply is what it is. And things in life, you know, they come along, they affect you. You viewers know that, you know, I had to deal with cancer, and so, like a friend of mine that is currently fighting the battle with cancer, he says, cancer is expensive. And, you know, he's right. It is. So things like that factor into things. And it's not about the accumulation of stuff that we have. What life is really about is it's just about the quality of your life, the quality of your life experience, the fact that you can actually go out and you can do things. You know, you still have the ability to do things, and you still have your health. That's more important than any other thing out there. It's more important than a trinket. It's more important than the almighty dollar and everything else. Your ability to have quality people that you surround yourself with, and the ability just to simply be content with what you have, and to be able to go outside and enjoy the outdoors. I mean, my mother, before she passed away, Mom wrote journals and things like that, and one thing that I discovered after my mom had passed away was her writing about how much at peace she was when she was outside working on her plants, working on her flowers. That made her forget about the loss of her two husbands. And in the same thing, I found her writing about my dad, and on the anniversary of his passing, Mom wrote, I can't believe that it's been 43 years since Matt passed away, but I still love him, I still miss him. So, you know, things like that, they kind of get you a little bit there when you read them. But what I want to say is all of that stuff is more important than anything else. And when it comes to firearms and stuff like that, basically practice with what you got. Use what you have. Don't let anybody ever shame you into thinking that what you have is not good enough. It's like watching somebody at the range. You know, some fellow, gentleman particularly comes to mind, like in his mid-70s, and he's out there with 1911, and he still competes. And you'll have these guys being really critical of him being in there competing at his age, you know, saying that he shouldn't be doing that. Well, you know what? You have no idea what he did for this country. And so, you know, who are you to criticize him? He's in the match, you aren't. People, sometimes you just don't know. Okay, this went a little bit longer than what I had planned, but you tend to like it when I get up close and personal and just, you know, straight and honest with you. So there you have it. So that's about it. That's it from here. And thank you very much for your questions. I hope that helped fill you in just a little bit more. I can't, unfortunately, review every firearm that's out there because I can't go out and buy one. I just can't do that whenever a new gun comes out. So anyway, there you have it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Everybody, you know the drill. Be safe out there and have a good one.